Be honest, have you ever sat down to trade with a plan and somehow ended the session overwhelmed, overtraded, and confused about what even just happened? If you have ADHD, the problem probably isn't your strategy, it's that you don't have a routine your brain can actually follow. In episode 1, we talked about why us ADHD traders find prop challenges harder to complete than our neurotypical counterparts. Today we're fixing one of the biggest causes of blown challenges. No structure around your trading day. Not discipline, not willpower, but a routine that works with ADHD brain and not against it. So let's start with exploring why most routines fail ADHD traders. Most trading routines are built for people who can sit still, stay focused, and calmly wait for hours. But unfortunately for us, our ADHD brains just don't work like that. Does this scenario sound familiar to you? You sit down with good intentions but soon start watching everything. You'll see multiple candlesticks printing. You might see a large candlestick moving in a particular direction. You've got multiple chart windows open where you're scanning for an opportunity to make money. But you can't see anything that looks likely to lead to a winning trade. A sense of inactivity begins to creep in. You take a punt on a low probability trade that aren't matched to your plan. You know it's wrong, but you can't help yourself, and suddenly you're managing trades you never planned to take. And the worst thing about this scenario, you might actually win some trades, and this lulls you into a false sense of security that causes havoc for you later, when suddenly a win turns into a big loss. This might sound like a lack of discipline, but it's actually a lack of boundaries, which can create if we set some simple, clear routines. An ADHD-friendly routine has one main goal: reduce the number of decisions you have to make while the market's open, because every decision costs focus. And when our focus runs out, impulse takes over. So instead of asking, how do I trade better? You should be asking, how do I trade less, but more intentionally? Our routines begin even before we start trading. Pre-market is where ADHD traders either win the day or set themselves up to spiral out of control, heading towards a big loss. Before you begin trading, you must 1. Check any relevant news releases that could impact your trades. This will take no more than 5 minutes to do. And I use Forex Factory and the FTMO website because it allows me to know whether the news item is a restricted event. This is an absolute non-negotiable part of your routine. I've been in hugely profitable trades, and as soon as the news hits at 1:30 p.m. UK time, I instantly hit my stop loss. This sent me into an emotional spiral, which meant the rest of the day was a write-off. 2. Identify the markets in play that you can trade. Depending on your strategy, you're going to have markets that are in play and markets that are not in play. By having a clear setup that statistically increases your chances of winning the trade, you limit confusion around taking a trade. To help us manage our cognitive load, I would suggest you start with no more than 6 or so markets. The reason why we need several markets to look at is because there will be days or even weeks when the market you most favor just isn't in alignment with your setup. Even if a market you think you know well, you cannot trade it if the setup is just not there. 3. Decide your max risk. As I said in my last video, I aim for a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio, but 2-to-1 is also workable, but you'd have to have a higher win rate. I also know traders that trade with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, but I would advise against this. When you start out, you'll find you have a series of wins, but one poorly executed trade can wipe out all of your gains. We want to avoid anything that will make us emotionally dysregulated, and nothing leads faster to dysregulation than feeling like a failure. 4. Decide the criteria you will follow to stop yourself trading. We already know that trading for hours on end is not the way to become a successful trader. There are certain criteria I stick to that help me avoid overtrading. Firstly, no more than 3 trades in a day. Secondly, I give myself 3-hour window to trade. Anything over that and I start to trade like a complete idiot. The next thing to do is to only trade to 2-3 days a week. Based on my data, Wednesdays to Friday often gives me the biggest moves, bigger than Mondays and Tuesdays. Another key action is to avoid certain news days. I find that trading FOMC, where they share news about the US interest rates, disproportionately affects the whole day. I have had successful trades on these days, but when I read back my data, it's just too risky. And finally, I must stop all trading when I recognize I've become emotionally dysregulated. It takes some time to work out your own indicators, but I know that mine are relentless pacing up and down the hallway, or my eyes are just fixated on the screen. Okay, the fifth thing we have to do, pre-market, come to market emotionally regulated. It's pointless coming to the market to trade if you're not feeling calm. There are many things that are going on in our lives that can affect how we feel when we are trading. A fight with your partner, an annoying email someone sent you, or even forgetting to eat breakfast and realizing you're starving. Some people might find listening to 5 minutes of positive affirmations or reading something inspiring and help them get into a positive mindset where we feel sharp and ready to trade and calm enough to deal with any setbacks we might face. A big no-no is rushing to the screen to trade. You should be at your desk half an hour before your trading window so you don't add any unnecessary pressures to your day. Thorough preparation plus a positive, calm mindset equals good enabling conditions for making good trading decisions. You have your pre-trading routine in place. Now it's time to think about your routine for when the market opens. When the market opens, your job is not to plan, it's to execute or do nothing. If you're watching a chart with no clear plan, you're already off routine. Until you've internalized your plan, make sure it is somewhere prominent where you can see it. The market is not Netflix. You do not need to binge it. Now we're in an active window. First and foremost, give yourself a defined trading window. There is never a good enough reason to trade outside of your trading window. When that window closes, you're done. Even if you're bored, even if you're up, even if you feel locked in, set your alarm, and when it rings, have a concrete action to carry out that will physically take you away from your computer. This protects you from overtrading, revenge trading, and hyper-focus damage. Some of us might prefer to do a short burst of exercise or go for a walk to get rid of that nervous energy and to take our minds off trading. Some of us might prefer to listen to a podcast or even have a cheeky little doom scroll. The point is, you need to do something to disconnect from trading, to stop you returning to the computer. If you find yourself in the middle of a trade, your options are either carry on with your take profit and stop loss in place and see how the trade plays out, or move your stop loss to break even. So the worst case scenario is you avoid a loss, and the best case scenario, you hit your take profit. Some traders will close their trade, win, lose or draw, and at the end of their window. Personally, I wouldn't do this because just because I'm stopping doesn't mean my trade has to stop. I opt for letting the trade play out, but you have to decide what you are comfortable with. After trading, you must build a routine to review the day. But review does not need to be perfect. 5 to 10 minutes max. Otherwise, you'll commit to it for a few days and then you'll get bored. Every time I've tried to incorporate a longer, more detailed review, it never lasts. So better to do less, but be consistent. Ask yourself, what rules did I follow? What rules did I break? What did I learn from today? What is one adjustment I need to make for tomorrow? And that's enough. Decide where you're going to record your notes that you can review, not just individual days, but the week as a whole, and identify patterns of behavior. I use TraderSync, but there are other options out there. The key is to know what is working and what isn't. So why do these routines matter? Because prop challenges reward consistency, not sporadic huge win days. These routines limit impulse trading, reduce emotional spikes, keep you inside risk rules, and remove a need for consistent self-control. Let the routines do the hard work for you. You're not trying to be disciplined, you're designing your day so discipline isn't required. In our next episode, we're tackling impulse trades and how to stop entering trades when your brain wants dopamine more than profits. And as always, if you've enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm always keen to hear from you guys, and we've already got a good conversation going. So let's keep it up.